Hey friends, it's Ben Jameson. Thanks for checking out Church Free Spirituality for this week. For this week and the next couple weeks, I want to look at the standards that we keep. Conventional wisdom says that the quality of life that we experience is based on our standards, and that if we want our quality of life to increase, we need our standards to increase as well. Now, in certain areas of life, I think that's absolutely right. We want to have a high standard around integrity. We want to have high standards around personal hygiene and self-care, things of that nature. But there are other areas of life where it's actually beneficial for us to lower our standards. Think about what your standard is for having a good day. What do you have to accomplish in a day in order for you to feel good about the day? Do you even know what the standards that you hold are? Odds are you don't. Most of us have never gone into our own consciousness and consciously set our own standards. What does it take for me to have a good day? What does it take for me to feel wealthy? What has to happen for me to be able to look back on my life and say this life was worthwhile? These questions are really important, and if we don't take the time to really dig in and set our own standards consciously and intentionally for ourselves, we're going to default to the race consciousness standard of what it takes to have a good day, feel wealthy, feel like life has been worthwhile. The interesting thing is, friends, any idea what the race consciousness standards are? Nobody knows what they are, because they change all the time. It's a moving target, and there is no way from one moment to the next that you can ensure that you will meet that standard. So we need to take the time within ourselves to set those standards for ourselves. I'm going to do 4 weeks on this. First week, this week, we're talking about what makes a good standard. Next week, we'll look at standards that we hold around what it takes to have a good day. Then we'll look at wealth, and finally going back to this broader idea of what does it take to have a feeling that our life has been valuable and worthwhile. So, we got to do the work of going into our own consciousness and intentionally setting our own standards. Because if not, like I said, we default to the race consciousness, and that is a losing game. But before we set our standards, we want to be really clear about what makes a good standard. What are the criteria underneath our standard, and what do the qualities of those criteria need to be? Well, friends, it's pretty simple. There's just 2 criteria to consider. The first is that it is very easy for you to achieve, reasonably achievable, right? And the second one is that it's totally within your control to achieve it. If you think about something like there's a house project that you want to complete, well, completing that in a certain amount of time is not within your control. You may have to go to the store. They may not have the material that you need. You might have to wait for that material to arrive. So there are outside influences that prevent you from achieving that particular task. And if we set standards for ourselves that require other people to have an influence, then we're setting ourselves up for failure. So those are the 2 criteria, friends. Easy to achieve, completely within your control. Let's look at golf. I've started playing golf recently. I love it. I'm having a whole lot of fun. If I set a standard for having a great golf game that said that if I go out and play with a bunch of friends, I have to win the game in order to feel like it's been a good game, is that a good standard or a poor standard? That's a really poor standard, right? Because I don't control how the people around me play. They control how they play. It is completely outside of my control and authority to determine whether or not I win the game. What about if the standard is I've got to hit 90% of my shots perfectly? Again, terrible standard. Because if I were doing that good, I'd be winning the majors, right? What about a standard that says I have to do my very best on every single shot that I take? Fantastic standard. I am fully in control of whether or not I do the very best that I can. And the fact is, friends, you've heard me say this before if you've watched this whole series, we are guaranteed to do the best that we can all the time. Because we always do the very best that we believe we can. So, for this next week, do some contemplation. What are the areas of your life that you think it would be beneficial for you to lower your standards? And then take a look at what your standards currently are. Have you set any standards yet? If so, what are they? If not, and you're defaulting to the race consciousness, that's good to know too. So do that homework for this week, and next week, we're going to look at what it takes to have a good day and set some standards around that are supportive and guarantee that every day is a great day. Thanks for checking out Church Free Spirituality for this week, friends. Like, share, subscribe, put comments down below. We'll have a conversation there. If you wanted me to do a video just for you, put that down there too. I'll do a video just for you. And then if you want to go deeper, Church Free Spirituality, the book, is available on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. Thanks, friends. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.